You got your patient on the ventilator and they actually come off to eat and drink, okay? You can put it in standby. Don't touch it. Don't touch it. Let me show you something. I'm just showing you. Once you put it in standby, once this machine detects that there's no breath, it'll stop.
After this breath.
You can take them off. Take your patient off the machine. It does this. Now it's in standby mode. So you can take the mask off your patient, and when you hit standby, it'll be in rest position. Okay? Now your patient can take a sip of water, they can drink, and you put the mask back on them, it automatically kicks back in.
Oh.
Once it detects a breath, it kicks back into the mode. Okay? Menu. Menu is where you can adjust the brightness of your screen, okay? The loudness of your alarms. You can, some patients, we will hook these up to a mask. Some patients have a trach. We hook patients up on trachs on BiPAP and CPAP, okay? So with that being said, other is usually what we use for certain types of masks and or using the whisper valve here for a trach patient. If you put a patient who has a trach on BiPAP or CPAP in this machine, you need to have this whisper valve open. Because if not, the patient breathes in and out on that trach, where's the CO2 going? It's staying in the circuitry. You have to have a way for your CO2 to escape for a trach patient. Now, for a patient who is on a mask, just hand me that whole box. Thank you.
Y'all haven't checked them yet? Y'all haven't checked them? Oh, CPAP and BiPAP?
Okay, the masks that you are looking at, these are vented masks. Vented, meaning they have holes in them for CO2 to escape. This one here has got its holes right here. So when the patient exhales, you're going to feel air come out of there. Okay? On the bridge of this nose here,
thank you.
You see those holes?
Where are these holes?
See those?
Sometimes we will hook up the pressure line to that. You know, it's a way we can rig stuff. All right, you see the vented? Okay. Uh-oh. Okay, now you have full face mask, you have total face mask, and you have nasal mask.
Which one that one?
And you have nasal pillows. I don't think we have any pillows.
What is this?
That is a nasal mask. What you have is what they call a full face mask.
Yeah.
And what they have, listen, y'all listen, they have a total face mask, which actually goes over the whole face.
Yeah. What's that one, Chris? It's like a shield.
I believe this is a nasal.
That's actually a full face mask. That goes over the mouth and the nose.
Oh, okay. I see. Oh, I see.
This is a nasal mask.
That is a nasal mask. As you can see, it is vented. Again, all the masks must be vented on this particular machine. Now, for mechanical ventilators, which we'll show y'all later, they can also do CPAP and BiPAP. Okay? But for the based on the way that they're made with the circuitry, we usually have an inspiratory line circuit and an expiratory circuit.
Really?
In that case, we do not use a vented mask, we use a non-vented mask. So it is important to know the difference by what you're grabbing. You will never put a patient on this machine on a non-vented mask. Why?
Because the CO2.
Because the CO2 has nowhere to go. And you're going to hurt somebody. Okay?
Is this an HME right here?
No, that's a filter.
Oh. So you can hook humidification up to this?
Yes, you can.
How?
We don't have the places here. But see this thing here? There's a hot plate that goes here.
Oh, okay.
Okay? And then just like how I showed y'all with the ventilator last year, you see the Passover humidifier there that slides onto that hot plate, and then we'll have another tubing that we connect to that. into the circuit.
Can I see this?
Like I say, as you see, that non-vented mask has no holes, but you will need 2 circuits. Okay. Now, I'm trying to think. I was going to tell y'all something. Y'all made me forget. I'm shook, boy. Yeah.
Don't be letting James come in here talking stuff. Right. You already be talking stuff about the shoe game.
Take my scrubs off, boy. I got to rock these. Get this money tonight, bro. Gotta get this money. Get this work.
What are these ports right here for?
Now, I will say this. Now,
Sorry.
let me give you my disclaimer. Okay? This machine gets feedback from the patient. Okay? Meaning, this is how we tell how much pressure is going in, how much pressure we're applying against the patient. Okay? So, there is a line. You see this line? This bore tube in here that comes and connects to here? This is your pressure line. Without it, this line here gives feedback to your machine. Based on what your patient's breathing, it's giving us our tidal volume, it's telling us our rate, it's telling us all that. So if this is ever comes disconnected, right? Okay. This machine has no idea what it's doing. Okay? Now, the reason I'm telling you that is because, like I say, if you have something that comes up, proximal pressure line disconnected, you know it's something with this. It's either disconnected at your patient or it's disconnected at your mask. Now, in some cases, and you asked me what those little ports were there for.
Yeah.
In some cases, like I said, we won't have one of these, just depending on the type of circuitry we have. So, sometimes what we'll do is hook that pressure line up to the mask. Okay? Uh-oh. It don't want to stay because it's kind of stretched out. But basically, there's a way we can kind of bootleg it here, and then we can get our reading directly from our patient to the line. Okay?
And they usually come on different masks, those ports?
No, these ports come on pretty much almost all the masks. Now, the ones that you'll see at TMH, they all have them. Because we use one brand. You sleeping?
One bed, one pillow, one blanket.
Okay. What time?
One sheet.
That's right.
Almost 4 DuPont.
Say that again.
Wait a minute, because it's some stuff in your book. This is all in chapter 24, okay?
What are the chapters on the table?
It's going to be 24 and it's going to be 17.
Can we have 2 chapters?
You just said 24 and 17.
Oh, that's it?
That's all he said.
Unfortunately, I don't know if we're going to get the opportunity to go into the chest too.